My name is Claire Pamushi, a New Testament Greek tutor. We welcome to our third video on the Introductory New Testament Greek. So far, we have looked at the background of the New Testament Greek, and also we have briefly studied the transliteration of the Greek sentences. You can watch videos 1 and 2 for the wonderful presentations. Today, we are going to analyze the English sentence with New Testament Greek perspective. We will identify the English grammar and learn how the grammar works and also appreciate the grammatical similarities and differences between English and New Testament Greek. Together with me is Chantel, a New Testament Greek learner. Welcome, Chantel.
Hi, as you have heard, my name is Chantel, and I'm really excited to learn this great language that the Bible authors use to pen down the divine scriptures. As you will notice, learning New Testament Greek also enables you to learn the English language more effectively, understand its structure, and many other things you could hardly understand or grasp in a normal circumstance. So learning New Testament Greek also improves your technical understanding of the English language. It's a double advantage. Well, today we will look at and analyze the English version of the biblical text from Matthew 28, verse 18. Now, I will be reading from the New King James Version, but we'll also be learning how this can be perceived from the Koine Greek perspective. The biblical text goes like this, Matthew 28, verse 18. And Jesus came and spake to them, saying, "All authority has been given to me in heaven and on earth." Now, there are 5 grammatical forms that we'll be looking at in this verse, and these are nouns, pronouns, verses, conjunctions, and prepositions. Now, these are some of the most crucial forms in English structure that would assist us to understand how the meanings are obtained by understanding this language. Now, I'll be personally showing these forms in a table, and I'll be analyzing them from the English structure and also giving some hints on how they can be perceived and how they can be perceived from the Koine Greek language. Now I'll be sharing the table. So give me a second to share my screen. So as you can see, this is my table, but the grammatical forms aren't there, and then there's the verse just so you can see. Now I have a quick note to before I go. On the left, you can see that they're the English words that are shown in the sentence, and on the right, you can see that the grammatical forms, and I'll be writing that in. But there are a few words like and and to, which are repeated in the sentence, but they have the same forms, and then other words which I'll explain later, but I'll talk about them. And all these words coming from the verse, but some words are repeated. But if they're repeated, I'll just say that these have the same forms, that's when they're not saying twice. So now let's start. So first we have the word and. Now this is a conjunction, so we can just simply write that. This is when words are repeated, but it has the same form, so we don't need to go much in detail to it. But next we have Jesus. It is a noun and it's singular. Sorry. Also, it is nominative. And masculine. Now, I will come to explain these in more details because you're probably wondering what are they, but I will come to explain it. So next is came. Now, came is obviously a verb. In English, it is past tense, but I'll come to explain it in more detail. Next is spoke. Now, I don't need to rewrite spoke because it's just the same as is the same thing as came, so I don't need to explain it in more detail. Next, you have to, which we know is a preposition. And I'll be putting this in brackets because I'll come to explain it more. Okay, next we have them. Now this is a pronoun. It is also plural. Now saying is a verb and it is also a participle. Okay, next we have all. Now this is the start of a new sentence, but I will explain in more detail when I come back, when we finish this table. So next we have it's a noun. Then we also have that it's singular nominative. It's the authority is also the same thing. So next we have me. Now me is a noun and it's just a noun. It's and it's accusative. Next we have in, and in is just a preposition. We don't really need to explain that. And heaven is just a noun, dative singular. And then on is just the same as in, so you just write preposition, there's not much to it. And then we have earth, which is just, I'm just gonna copy this part. And it's a noun and it's also genitive. Okay, so now that I've written the whole table, I'll be now explaining it in more detail. Now first is, and we don't need to discuss because it's not really different from the English to the Greek. Next is Jesus. I'll be using this as an example for the nouns. Now as you can see, nouns have a noun, singular, nominative, and masculine. Now, singular is singular and plural. We have that in not many different languages, like French and other languages, so I feel like it's kind of common. But here's nominative and masculine. Now, nominative, there's first declension, second declension, third declension. Now, in there is like a table that explains that has the different endings, and it can either be nominative, accusative, dative, or vocative, and genitive. Now, vocative is less common, but it's more common to see like nominative, which is like 4 words that the subject. Nominative is like the subject. Accusative is like the object, but it's a direct object. Dative is indirect object, and genitive is possession. So most of the time we have a word that is genitive will be of the earth, or something that's related to that thing. It's of possession of that object or thing. And then vocative, it's not really common, so we don't really use it. And that's the nominative. Now, masculine is very common in other languages like French, Spanish. It's basically the gender. Most words have gender. It's either masculine, feminine, or neuter, which is also common in other languages. But neuter, I feel like, is used the most, or masculine. Most words are masculine. So that's what the noun is. And as you can see, it's repeated. Like, for example, earth, it's noun, genitive, and singular, meaning that it's something of possession of the earth, or something's in possession of the earth. That's what it's talking about in that context. Next, you have came and spake. I'll be using these as the examples of the verbs, mainly came, but spake is the same. Now, we'll be using the red thing just so that you can see the difference. So let me just, thank you. Okay, so as you can see, came in English, it's past tense. Now in Greek, it's actually aorist, because like a completed action only happens once, for example, and Jesus came. It's not and Jesus is coming, and Jesus is, or has been coming. It's something that happens once and it's completed, like it's already happened. Yes. So that's his past tense. It can be past, present, or future. It's not common to be present, but it's more common to be past. So now I just write aorist in a red tense. As you can see, it's red. It's very bright red, actually. In Greek, they rarely would say if it's past, future, or present. It would just be like aorist or perfect tense. Oh yeah, it could be aorist, it could be perfect tense, it could be present tense, but it doesn't work the same, if that makes sense. Like what could be past tense in English could be aorist in Greek. What could be present tense in English might not be present tense in Greek. The present, past, and future tense work completely differently. Okay, so now as you can see, I've given you 3 examples of what you can be using in noun and verb. Now, the thing with verbs is they sometimes come across as nouns, like the endings, which is how we'll use can elaborate to tell the tense and what type of word it is. Sometimes it has a noun ending, which might confuse you, but then you'd be like, wait, this isn't a noun, or this isn't a pronoun, this is a verb. Which is what comes to say that verbs can also have and the endings. It can be gender, it can have number, it can have also verbs have mood, it also has voices. So it can have that, like for example, what has been given, it's not only verb and aorist, it's also passive. So there are those things that come to play.
It's indicative.
It's indicative. It can be indicative. Truly has happened. Yeah, it can be passive. It can be indicative. So there's loads of different things that come into play, and so I do hope that you've got a lot of more understanding in it. And I guess that's it for today's video. So do you have anything to add?
Okay. For today we say bye.